Hello and welcome to Behind the Lines. I'm Diane Dayton and I am so excited to talk about this today. It is the 7th annual Lancaster Roots and Blues and the Festival Director Rich Ruoff is with us. Boy, this is exciting to have this back. It's been, what, almost 2.5 years?
Yes.
Wow. I think we're all ready for this.
I think everybody's ready to go out again.
And You know what's really cool about this? You are coming back even bigger and better than before.
Well, the goal was always to keep this thing growing,
Yeah.
and I thought, I'm not going to let COVID slow it down, so we built it bigger.
Yeah. So what is it? It's about 80 artists, 100 shows. It's never been that many, right?
No, it's the biggest one yet, yeah.
Okay. So we've got all different types of genres. What would you say we're going to hear during this 3-day festival, which is October 15th, 16th, 17th, Friday, Saturday, Sunday?
Yeah, so of course the title of the festival is Lancaster Roots and Blues, and roots is a pretty broad description. Of course we do a lot of blues bands from all over the country, Chicago and St. Louis and Kansas City and Austin, Texas and New Orleans, and then all the subgenres. We do some New Orleans music and funk and soul. We do rock and roll and some rockabilly, a little bit of everything. We do Zydeco this year. We have,
oh wow, okay.
Yeah, Buckwheat Zydeco. Junior, the son of Buckwheat Zydeco, and he's still touring with his father's band, and they're a Grammy-winning band. So,
oh, that's so exciting.
A lot of fun, yeah.
Yeah, it really is. I'm sure when you started to reach out to these artists, there was an excitement, because I know everybody's itching to be out there and to play again, too, wasn't it?
Absolutely. I had everybody we asked said yes, and that was exciting.
Yeah, that is exciting. So, there are a lot of locations as well. I think you said there's 7 locations and 10 stages, and it's all down here within this walking distance of the city in Lancaster.
Correct. We are, as usual, you get a wristband and you could literally go all within 3 blocks of each other. The main base, of course, is the Lancaster Marriott / Lancaster Convention Center. They're attached to each other, and that's where our box office is. And of course, it's Lancaster Roots and Blues, a festival of music and art. We've expanded it.
Yes.
And we have an art expo, and that's the same hall where the ticketing, the box office is. It's also the same hall where we have an acoustic stage this year. We're calling it the front porch, and that's set up like a porch on a cabin in the woods.
Is there going to be a beer garden there too?
It'll be a beer garden and a wine garden.
And a wine garden.
A little bit for everybody there.
Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah.
And how many artists and what type of art are you talking about when you talk about that?
Yeah, we'll have about 50 booths this year. So 50 different artists displaying their wares. It's fine art. It's anything from painting to sculpture, and we expect to keep that growing from year to year and add even more space over time.
Oh, that's a wonderful idea. It makes sense to pair it, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, to me, it's all the creative community.
Absolutely.
And of course, Lancaster, excuse me, Lancaster not only has a good music scene, and people love the variety of music that we bring in, but we also have a very dynamic art scene, so I think comparing the two is a good thing.
Yeah, I really think so too. So some of the other locations, just so we can get them straight in our head, we also have at the Holiday Inn.
Right, so we had to get some new venues this year, and the Holiday Inn, which for the older people in Lancaster used to be the Hotel Lancaster, and before that it was the Brunswick. They've done a full renovation, still the same location, and the corner of Chestnut and Queen, North Queen, and there's like 200 plus rooms, but they have 2 ballrooms, and we're going to use both of their ballrooms and put stages in there. So we have stages there, and of course the rest of the town.
And of course, the Village.
The Village, the oldest running nightclub in America by the same family.
Is that right?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, classic rock. It's a classic rock room.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And then, of course, we have the Elks Club.
Yeah, the Elks Social Club up on North Duke Street. And again, that's a classic old Pennsylvania social club. It's been there 100 years. And it's got a great vibe in that room. And the acoustics are really good. It's a nice stage, good visuals.
And the Trust Building is really an interesting location, great venue.
Yeah, we're right downtown there in the Trust Performing Arts Center, which is next to, right by Central Market in the alley there on Market Street. That was an old bank, of course, and it's a visually stunning space for music.
I think so too. And of course, Tellus 360 always has front and back rooms, as you and I call them, right?
Yeah, great room. We have two stages there, the front stage and the back stage, which is also referred to as the temple. That's
okay.
the bigger stage. So we'll be switching music back and forth there.
And then, of course, Zootropolis.
Zootropolis, cool little space. It's a art house music or art movie house that also has a real stage with a real sound system. And we'll be putting music in there.
That's what I love. There's these different spaces that give you different experiences with the artist.
Yes.
And I would imagine you really looked at that when you were putting together the location and the artist.
Well, yeah, absolutely. We try to marry up the right artist with the right stage. I mean, it's really why the festival, it was so cool to see, a town the size of Lancaster developing all these venues. And we thought, I thought really this needs to be capitalized on, and that's why we decided to create a festival, and so you can just wander from room to room, stage to stage.
Yeah, I think it's really spectacular.
Thanks.
Well, let's start to talk about some of these artists that are coming.
Sure.
Okay. So if we go across the top, Charlie, how do you say his last name?
Charlie Musselwhite.
Tell me about him.
He's a harmonica player.
Okay.
And he is been around forever. He's one of the older people at the festival this year.
What do we call older?
Older. He's 79, maybe.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, he came out. He's a white blues man who came out of Chicago in the '60s, and he's played with everybody. He's a multi-Grammy winner. He's won so many blues awards. And I actually know him. We're old friends, and it's exciting to have him come back to Lancaster.
Oh, that is. And Shamika Copeland, she's got a great following, too.
Yeah, I think the Washington Post just did a big front page article on her and called her Queen of the Blues. Yeah.
Indeed, she is. Buckwheat Zydeco Jr. you were talking about a little
Right,
bit
he's
earlier.
out of New Orleans, and Zydeco, or actually he's out of, I think, Baton Rouge,
Okay.
which is another Louisiana town. And Zydeco is a Creole-based music. It's also Cajun-based, but it's based around the accordion and rhythm and the frottoir, or the washboard, where they play with spoons.
Oh,
but it's so much energy and so much fun to dance to.
And that'd be kind of fun to have some jambalaya at the same time, wouldn't it?
Well, we'll have to work on that.
Yeah, I'll have to work on that one, right. Joan Osborne.
Yeah, another old friend of mine. Joan is just a world-class singer. Boy, 7-time Grammy nominee. And she's based out of Brooklyn now, and we're happy to have her back.
Yeah, that'll be great. I love some of these names. G-Love and the Juice.
Well, people who might know G-Love, he's always toured with G-Love and the Special Sauce, which is a 3-piece band.
Okay.
But this year, for the first time, he's increased the size of his band to an 8-piece band. So this is G-Love and the Juice.
Therefore, it's the Juice. Okay.
Yeah. And most people have not seen this band, but it's all A-list players, and it should be phenomenal.
Okay.
Yeah.
What instrumentation? Do you know offhand?
Well, I mean, he's the guitar player. He's a blues guitar player.
But what he's bringing along is?
I mean, 8-piece band, obviously bass, drums, probably a second guitar. I'm sure there's some horns involved with that, and
okay.
keyboard. Yeah.
And keyboard. Okay,
Yeah.
that sounds good. Larkin Poe.
Larkin Poe, two sisters. They are blowing up. They're probably the biggest act this year at the festival. And, it's not hard to understand why. You've got women who can sing, who can write, and, of course, they're beautiful, so it works. Yeah.
There you go. There you go. Eric Gales.
Eric Gales is described as the hottest new guitar player on the planet right now. Really popular, and that should be a full house for that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Is it Vela?
Vela. I'm excited about Vela. She's young. She's 17. She might have just turned 18.
Oh, wow.
She's one of the new generation of artists that just kind of pops up out of nowhere on social media. Last fall, she did a video on TikTok, and overnight, it got like 20 million views.
Wow.
So then she started doing some on YouTube, and they got millions of views. She got a record deal by January. She was in the studio recording. They released it, and it started selling immediately. It's been said that she's a cross between Janis Joplin and Amy Winehouse, and I concur.
Wow.
She's got a voice, and I believe you're going to see a superstar in the near future.
Oh, that's exciting. I love how you find and grab some of these new acts.
Yeah.
You just have your hand on the pulse.
Yeah, you know, with like an artist like Vela, you know, sometimes, you know, I like to think I'm a great talent scout, but really, if anybody saw this, oh yeah, that's a no-brainer.
Right,
you know,
and
right.
just go ahead and do it. The North Mississippi All-Stars.
Oh yeah, fabulous band, and of course they're from North Mississippi.
I guess.
You know, and now I forget the style of music that they call that. Oh, Delta blues, Delta country blues. But it's not just acoustic; they do electric, and they really bring it home.
Okay.
Yeah.
Billy Price, Charm City Rhythm Band.
So Billy Price, I've been working with Billy for 35 years. He's from Pittsburgh. He's a singer, kind of a white soul singer, blues singer. He's been on some of the most iconic blues records ever recorded. And he's always traveled with one of two bands. He has the Keystone Rhythm Band, which is Pittsburgh-based, and he has the Charm City Rhythm Band, which is based out of Baltimore. And depending on where he's booked, he'll play with one of those two bands.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah.
And of course, Walter Trout.
Walter Trout, another legendary old guitar player. I'm something old. Just a legendary guitar player. He play Rich, you know. Yeah. But yeah, and he's got a big following.
That sounds great. And what is the website where we can go and find out information about the artist? We can get tickets. That is very simple.
Yes, actually go to LancasterRootsAndBlues.com. Spell it out. LancasterRootsAndBlues.com.
Easy enough.
And yeah, the schedule. I mean, there's all kinds of. There's just a general page where you can go down and look. You'll see the photo. You can click on it, and it'll have videos, and of course a bio description and links to their own websites. Then there's also the festival schedule. And there's even venue schedules, and then you can cross compare and kind of map out how you want to go on any given day, who you want to see.
I say this every time we talk, but I think you have one of the best websites for this because we can find anything and everything that we want to know about this in any configuration, and the links with the artists and all of that. So kudos to you with that.
I appreciate that. And this year we expanded it even more. It's not so much for Lancaster people, but for out-of-town people who we get a lot. About half of our audience is from out of the county. Yeah. And so we have like a whole hotel page with like 60 hotels listed with links and distance from the festival. We have a list of like all the restaurants in Lancaster. Yeah.
It's a destination in and of itself.
Right.
Yes, for sure. We're going to take a brief pause, but we have so many other artists to tell you about, so stay with us.
Your sticks and bones in a winter of the right way to get a spark from your heart of stone. Turn us into ashes so you stay. Gonna keep a flame going inside my mind. In a winter breeze gonna bring it. Gonna keep the smoke from getting in my eyes. Stop it up in a minute, 'cause everything we had.
Welcome back to Behind the Lines. We are talking about the 7th annual Lancaster Roots and Blues, a festival of music with the festival director, Rich Ruoff. And once again, it's going to be held Friday through Sunday, October 15th, 16th, and 17th, all over Lancaster City. Exciting moments.
We can't wait.
We can't wait. And if you missed the first half, we're talking about 80 artists, 100 shows, 10 stages, 7 locations. So where do these artists come from? You grab them from all different areas.
Yeah, we have a lot of West Coast artists this year, from the middle of the country, all up and down the East Coast, Massachusetts, all the way down to Florida. So a little bit everywhere.
Yeah.
And of course, we do a bunch of local artists too.
Yeah, which I think is great too, to add to the mix. And once again, one of the things that's wonderful, since there are so many options to go to, some of these artists, that's why it's 100 shows, are doing a couple different shows.
Yeah, and actually this year with COVID, nobody was sure if they were going to be touring, so they weren't sure. You know, they thought they'd be doing a lot. It was called a fly-in date. So if they're going to bother to fly in just for one show, they said, why don't we do two and make it work? And it actually works for us. And if you're a fan and you're trying to pick out who you want to see, and there's two of your favorite bands at the same time, well, it's possible you can see the next one the next day at a different time.
Absolutely. And for those of you who haven't been to this fabulous festival, it's a unique way you do this. Explain that, Rich.
Well, it's as we mentioned earlier, it's a wristbanded festival, and we have multiple stages operating at the same time. And so if you wander into one show and it's not what you want, then you can easily just move over to the next venue and see what they have going on.
Yeah. Or I want to hear a little bit of this and a little bit of this because I like this and I like that, right?
Yeah, that works out.
We find some of that too. Well, let's talk a little bit more about some of these artists. Michael Cleveland and Flamekeeper.
Yeah, I mean, that's classic bluegrass. He's a violin player, multi-Grammy award-winning violin player, fiddle player, they call it in bluegrass, but it's still violin,
Right.
And he's an interesting character. He's blind, but his playing is world-class.
Wow. Clarence Spady and the Electric City Band. Clarence is back.
Yeah, and he's a Pennsylvania artist. He's from Scranton. He's been playing blues since he was 7 years old, like in bands that were appear in public. So he was a prodigy. We're about the same age, and his record that he released this year, a blues record, went to #1 on the blues charts this summer.
That's good.
So he's finally hit the pinnacle of the genre.
I think that's absolutely wonderful. Chris Kane.
Chris Kane, he's a West Coaster out of the Bay Area, and he's a fabulous kind of a jazz/blues player.
Okay.
And also an interesting character. I love Chris.
Yeah, that's really good. Joanna Connor.
She's a phenomenal guitar player out of Chicago. She travels with a great band. But she just produced a new record, had it produced with a guy named Josh Smith, who's also playing, and he's a famous blues producer.
Okay.
And co-produced by Joe Bonamassa, who's also a great guitar player. And it really leaps off the record. It's an amazing piece of work.
Wow. Quinn Sullivan.
Quinn Sullivan, young kid, 21, I believe, another child prodigy, but he's also a great songwriter. So he's not just a great musician, he's a great songwriter, and I think you're going to see a lot of him, and probably in cross genres, not just a blues player. One of his most recent songs has kind of a pop feel to it.
Okay.
And it doesn't feel forced, it feels natural. It's exciting to hear him.
That's what I love about this festival. There's so many different types of sounds that you can experience in one weekend. I think that's great. Roosevelt Collier.
He plays what's called excuse me again, a lap steel guitar. And he's considered one of the very best in the business at it.
Wow. Sugar Ray and the Blue Tones.
Sugar Ray, another famous old harmonica player. He's out of the Massachusetts area. Actually, maybe he lives in Rhode Island, but his band's based out of Massachusetts. And they again, legendary players. I mean, we have two of the best living harmonica players this year at the festival, Charlie Musselwhite and Sugar Ray. Oh,
amazing. The Reverend Peyton's Big Damn Band.
He is great. They're out of, I'm pretty sure they're out of Indiana, and it's a sound unto themselves. It's more of a rockin', fun party music. And his wife and him, she plays the washboard and he plays the guitar, and they have a drummer. And it's a big fat sound and just delivered with such ferocity and fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Award-winning Vanessa Collier.
Yes, she's a saxophone player. She's young, but she's been playing the festival. This is her third time back. Yeah. She's out of the Philadelphia area. I think actually Newtown Square. And great band, and she's moving up. Like, people really, really like her shows.
Absolutely. She was just at Long's Park this summer and at the Jazz Fest in Reading, and I can't wait to hear her again here. This is great. And Will, how do we say his last name?
Will Hogue.
Hogue, okay.
Classic singer-songwriter. I mean, he's been nominated for country music awards and just folk music awards. He crosses over genres, rock and roll, and if you like to hear a really high-quality songwriting, this is the guy. Okay.
And I always loved the Big Boy Brass Band.
Yeah, yeah.
Those guys are fun.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Fun local. It's a horn. It's just It's almost like a marching band said, "Oh, let's go out and play in nightclubs," and they bring an energy to it, which is really fun.
And when they're out in the street, I feel like I'm in New Orleans. You know?
Yeah. They got a New Orleans vibe going
Yeah,
for sure.
they do. They really do. We've got the Dave Wilson group there too.
Dave Wilson, another
Yep.
Central Pennsylvania stalwart in the jazz
Yep.
community, and he'll be bringing. I think he's bringing a 4-piece this year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Ursula Ricks is back.
Ursula Ricks, she's out of Baltimore, blues singer, always with a great band. She delivers with such a quality about her that really grabs your attention. It's got great feeling when she sings.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
She really pulls the audience in.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Sweet, is it Lita?
Sweet Lita, they've been playing the festival every year since the beginning. They're out of Annapolis, and really popular, fun band. Yep.
Yeah. The Inca Campers.
The Inca Campers have not played in quite some time. They're a Lancaster area band, and they've reformed, and they have a new record out this year. And I thought, well, we got to get them in. So here they are.
Kelly Bell Band.
Oh, you're getting all the Baltimore bands. We have another Baltimore band, and he's legendary too. He's been playing this area for 25 years. Really fun stuff.
Reincarnation Blues Project?
These are young guys out of Delaware.
Okay.
And I mean, really young, like 2021. And, you know, that's one of the ones that I heard the demo, and I get a lot of demos. I don't ask for them, people just send them to me. And it really popped. And I said, oh, these guys got it. They figured it out. They can play.
Okay.
And it's not just the quality they're playing. They listen to each other. It's exciting.
Mystic Alpacas.
Yeah.
What a name.
Yeah, and it's a bunch of local guys that I know well, and it's based around the saxophone. And boy, if you're from Lancaster, you'd probably recognize somebody in this band.
Leo, is it DeSanto?
Leo DeSanto, another singer-songwriter, and I think he's one of the very best musicians in Lancaster County.
Ray Fuller and the Blues Rockers.
Ray Fuller, really fun house rock and blues, based out of Ohio.
Okay.
Yeah, this will be his 3rd time back, maybe 4th. Fan favorites. We always fill the room wherever they play.
QDK.
QDK is a 3-piece band. It's a rockabilly band. Legendary musicians. Actually, the local connection to that is the guitar player, Quentin Jones, who's a member of the Rockabilly Hall of Fame.
Okay.
The K is Kenny Aronson, who's the bass player. He was Rolling Stones Bass Player of the Year. He's played with Bob Dylan and David Bowie. I mean, everybody. And let's see, QDK. Okay, who's the K? No, that's Kenny. David Usikian. He's the drummer, who's from the Hooters and a bunch of other projects too. Yeah, so it's all A-list players. Yeah.
Martini Brothers.
The Martini Brothers out of Harrisburg, really fun trio. Kind of a rockabilly / blues kind of house rocking band.
Ogham Stones.
Ogham Stones is Irish music.
Yes.
Yeah, and they're local.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Dillweed's local.
Dillweed's local, local bluegrass, yes.
Yeah, really good. This is good. Christy Jean and her Ne'er-do-wells.
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 Yeah, she's out of upstate Pennsylvania, like out in the mountains. And but I think she's from down south originally, but she picked up a band up from the State College area. Okay. And it's kind of a hillbilly country twang, something you might see in the mountains of Tennessee, but it's real quality music.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Corsair Blues Jazz Orchestra.
Yeah, so that's fun. That's kind of a swing. They're local, and they do kind of a swing-based thing. It's like 20-member band. They'll be. I think they're even going to do a little like swing dance lessons before the show starts.
Oh no, that sounds really good.
Yeah, and then they'll
really
go right
good.
into the concert.
And there's even more. I love play. I feel like we're playing a game show back and forth here. I'll give you this and tell us about that. Thank you so much for everything that you do and bring to our community.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, so once again, the website is really easy. It is LancasterRootsAndBlues.com. You can find everything about all the groups that are going to be there, locations, get tickets, find out hotels, restaurants, and all of that, right?
Yeah, and you can buy a 1-day ticket, a 2-day ticket, or a 3-day ticket.
Right.
So even if you only have a few hours to kill, a 1-day ticket's worth it. Just pick the day and come.
And just come and hang out.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for being with us today.
Thank you, Diane.
Thank you for joining us today, too. I'm Diane Dayton with Behind the Lines, reminding you to look behind the lines. You might be surprised what you find.